Oni the Unicorn. And I'm here to tell you that f***ing your dreams ain't cheap. In fact, it costs a ton of cash to do. So that's why me and the Ohno radio show need your help. Just go to the website displayed below and hit us up with some cash, yo. $1, $5, $1 million if you have it to spare. Any amount is appreciated. Well, I gotta go because these dreams ain't gonna fuck themselves. See ya!
Welcome back once again to get another edition of the Ohno Wrestling Podcast, episode 125, if you can believe that. We haven't got kicked off of the internet yet, and I dare say that maybe that's I don't even know if that's a good or a bad thing. But anyway, if this is your first time listening, my name is Owen, and I am your Shark Break Kid. And also, maybe not after tonight or after Sunday, but your current Ohno Wrestling Predictions champion. And by way of roll-up, of course. And this week, we got the full crew together. That's right, we have the King of Bong Style Duncan in the house.
Hell yeah.
And back with us once again, the modern day Maharaja himself, Matthew from Denver. How we all doing, boys?
Matthew rolled in on his cool ass motorcycle.
I was gonna say, I did that and was texting some shit on my way in.
And you know what? I'm glad we're hopping right into this, because I think this is a perfect place for us to start, because I tell you what, I actually feel a lot of sympathy for the one Jinder Mahal.
That bike got tore up last night.
Well, not only that, he came out there and was like, yo, I've been trying to talk to Drew, my old buddy, my compadre, my amigo.
Mi amigo. Mi hermano.
But I have not received a single text back from one Drew McIntyre. That's why I stole his sword, so I could just, if I got his sword, then I can hang with my buddy. I want to make bad rock and roll music again with him, and I want to hang out with one Drew McIntyre. We're both, former champions now. We've both been to the moon and back. Now is the time that we just sit back, relax, crack a couple cold ones, and talk about the good old days. But Drew has not responded. Instead, Drew has been just telling me history lessons about shit that I think are not even real. And then things happen where Drew gets all mad and destroys Jinder's beautiful red motorcycle. Completely out of line, Drew McIntyre.
It's a real dick move.
Real dick move. And I'm asking the people of the internet to join with me in the fact that we should all be perceiving Drew McIntyre as the heel in this feud. Jinder Mahal is the nice guy. He's just reaching out to an old bud. Yet Drew is the baby face for destroying his personal property.
Yeah. Jinder did start with the petty larceny.
He did, but that was to get his friend back. You see, that was just like.
Yeah, but okay, but that's like you coming over and stealing my bong.
Sure.
Right.
Oh, I
I
accidentally stole it.
You accidentally stole
Oops.
it. Come
Yeah.
on.
Whoops.
You know?
Oops.
Well, and it was broken last night.
It was.
You know?
True.
Well, he tried to get it like professionally maintained and cleaned. Like he said, he
Yeah,
was going
fair
to
enough.
shine it. But I guess whoever was in charge of that dropped the ball. You know,
Drop the sword, really.
dropped the
Drop
sword.
the sword.
I don't think
Yeah.
that's Jinder's fault. Whoopsie daisy. And it turns
Looked like
out it
looked like
wasn't
the
even
sword
the,
from the Lord of the Rings, from the Return of the King.
and it turns out it wasn't even the real sword. So
Mhm.
Drew's been an imposter this
replica.
whole time,
Yeah.
rocking around with the family heirloom, but it's not even. He's a liar. So not only is Drew a coward for not
Man.
wanting and a dick for not wanting to talk to his old buddy, he rips apart his motorcycle, but now he's a liar because
There's no honor in professional wrestling anymore.
no, and that's my
Like,
problem.
Seriously, everybody's just making shit up. Like it's just all pretend. Come on now.
And I want to see Jinder back on top to make a little bit more main event money because it was way too easy for Drew to rip apart the fiberglass on his motorcycle.
I agree.
Oh man,
You
for
know,
real.
like he needs a much more solid, like bike.
He does. He deserves one. He deserves
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, he deserves a bike made of metal, not fiberglass.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, the logic is very flawed that I noticed.
No.
With the whole sword replica thing, because Drew goes on to say, "I'm not an idiot. Why would I? I know what happens at Monday Night Raw. Your prized possessions always get destroyed, right? Like this is a long-standing, thing that happens on Monday Night Raw."
You can't even really argue with him about that, though.
I don't argue with him about that. But what I argue is haha, you've had the replica the whole time because I'm not dumb enough to bring the real one. But look, I've got the real one right here. On Monday Night Raw.
Monday Night Raw.
So I actually brought it. Yeah.
So I don't think that he's particularly smart in this situation. And I think Jinder is kind of also like way smarter. And I want Jinder to wipe the floor with him. I want Colossus after Colossus. We're just going to take him to Colossus City.
It's time. It's time. Bury
will be
Drew and put
colossal.
Jinder on on top.
Well, I'm glad we got into the most important news of the week right off the bat.
I think the real travesty is that Jinder is not in the Money in the Bank match.
Yeah.
Kind of surprising.
I will say that I do like that he is making his comeback like to the main roster and back to TV right as they're hitting live fans. Like they didn't waste him during the pandemic.
No, they didn't.
And I wonder if that was like the total booking. They're like, keep him hidden, keep it.
They're like, wait
WWE
for
other
it.
Things I don't know.
Wait
Pandemic.
for
Wait
it.
for it. Everything's opening up. Release the modern day Maharaja.
Well, and that's.
Release,
I mean, he is the greatest. He is the
Indian
biggest.
Kraken.
He is
Yeah.
the biggest
The Canadian
superstar.
Kraken, really.
He's the biggest
Yeah.
superstar in the company, and therefore,
Arguably, I would say bigger than Roman Reigns.
probably. I mean, it's close, but
I heard that he invented the vaccine.
I heard he at least like got it distributed in Canada, where he's actually from. But we don't talk about that, do we?
But they only had
Indian Canadian badass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a shame that they scrapped that gimmick after.
Yeah.
He'll get a new bike, bro.
It really had some legs. We just needed like a not a classic new metal band, but we need like a new metal revival band
to play his actual theme song too.
This is what I'm saying. Thank you.
Yeah. Which is a banger. It's an absolute banger.
Dude, it slaps. It doesn't need to slap that hard.
It does. It has no right slapping that hard, to be honest.
Unfucking real.
I'm glad we got the real important news that everybody's been dying for us to talk about right off the bat.
Welcome to Mahal Talk.
Like Jinder Mahal Talk.
It's a Mahal cast.
Yeah.
But that's how WWE thinks.
The Pod Mahal.
You're not even that wrong. The Pod Mahal. That's pretty good. That's our new podcast. We're gonna come out later where it's only Jinder Mahal talk, and it's only it's all we discuss. It's long too. It's like they're like Rogan.
No, they're like Dan Carlin
episodes. Yeah, they're 4 hours long, and it's
5 hours hardcore history, but only about Jinder Mahal. Each match he's ever had in deep dive form.
Somehow
Can you imagine?
Somehow that's the worst and best idea I've ever heard.
I want to
and-
track his arm vein progress.
Yeah.
Like when that started.
We could have charts.
Yeah.
Like,
Dude, I want to have the whole like crazy Pepe Sylvia fucking on the board, and it's just me crazy smoking a cigarette. Like, where the fuck did the vein come from?
red yarn everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
No. Well, you aren't too crazy in the fact that like you think that like it sounds like a joke, but WWE probably has been waiting like for this moment to bring him back because he's a heat magnet and there's certain things that he can do that no one really can. So I kind of actually see that. Now that's the one person on one side of the equation making an impact in front of live fans. Now let's look at maybe the way AEW has handled that most recently this past Wednesday with the debuting Tommy End. Oh, no. That's not Tommy End.
Nay.
That is Malakye Black.
Yeah, which I'm in. I'm all in. If you'll notice, I wore my Keep Wrestling Evil shirt today.
Nice.
Love it.
Because, that's where I feel that needs to go. Look, and Matthew, did you see the vignette that he released? Like
I did that 5-minute vignette.
Yeah.
With the mental institution.
Yeah.
Yes. And the whole you've been here for 5 years, 5 years being the reference to how long he'd been in WWE. All of this, it was so good. And then for him to show up and Excalibur to put him over as Malakye Black, I'm like, I like this.
The acting was atrocious in that.
It wasn't
promo.
supposed to be good.
And I can let that go. That's fine.
His acting
was fine. Oh no, it was good. He was great.
You're talking the other.
Yeah, I'm talking about the jabrones that were like the side characters, like the nurses, the doctors, all that. Like it was they were pretty terrible, and it gave it an element of cheese that kind of let it down a little bit in my eyes. Like it could have been better, but I just love the fact that you can already see these creative juices already flowing, and it's he made that himself. That's not an AEW.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
that's what I was gonna say. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he had filmed that prior to anything.
Yeah, that was that was a thing that he was gonna release as sort of a teaser anyway. But then when he realized that he had in fact a 30-day no compete.
And this whole story is so funny because he didn't know it. It was a clerical error, apparently, when he got moved to the main roster from NXT. They never switched it over. And then did you hear about with Buddy Murphy? They called Buddy Murphy and were like, hey, we know you're on a 30-day non-compete. We'd like to offer you to extend to the 90. Almost like we'll give you a favor.
I'm gonna wrestle Bryan.
We'll pay you for the 90 is essentially what it is, right? And he's like, no, I recently looked at my contract. It says in there 90. Like I'm already on that. And then there was apparently like a sigh of relief on the other end of the phone. And then they realized they'd fucked up. They had mixed up the contracts of Buddy Murphy and Aleister Black. And they had not realized it until that moment that this is all from Buddy Murphy's mouth. I think he told it on Chris Van Vliet's podcast this past week.
Okay.
And he describes the whole situation in that, yes, they thought they were either talking to Aleister Black or they got their names mixed up. They confused those two to the point that their contracts got mixed up.
That's amazing.
And Aleister Black, and they're buddies too. And Aleister Black never said a word, and also didn't tell him that he was even going to AEW. Like Buddy had no clue apparently as well.
Yeah.
Well, and Buddy Murphy he's announced his first match. I don't know if you saw it, against Brian Cage.
With the greatest wrestling poster of all time. If you haven't seen it, it is a thing of beauty. Me and Duncan
green slime.
Me and Duncan have a theory about this. Like the worse the poster is, worst or best. Like if it has to have certain things in it, and you're gonna get a really good show. And one of those things is, what do you even call that font? Like the metal scratch. It's like the WWE scratch font almost. Like
almost. It's the stock edgy.
It's it's kind of like the Street Fighter versus.
Yeah,
right?
It's definitely like that edgy stock font that you get in Open Office, like.
And I love it's always probably like, I imagine that the guy that creates this is not like, it's not like a young kid that they're hiring to do it, right? It's some guy. It's like a 60-year-old that has like Photoshop from 1997. And
I was gonna say it's probably like a 45-year-old.
Yeah.
Who hasn't left his basement?
Yeah.
Since well before the pandemic.
And he has a rudimentary understanding of graphic design, but rudimentary, it is.
Yeah. Like, this looks
just
worse
enough
than something I could make on my phone.
That's 100% right. That's 100% right.
I feel like I don't know anything about Photoshop. I feel like
Same.
I could spend 1 hour and probably make a better.
You could, and that's what's hilarious about this. Do you have what's the deets for Murphy's first match here?
So just announced. This was on the 12th. So Murphy versus Machine, one of the hot matches I was looking forward to. So Brian Cage posted this since the slew of WWE releases. About to own the spotlight, have the match of the night, and definitely get my shit in. One hell of a return to the ECW arena. So Saturday, September 8th, at Arena 2300 Arena Worlds Collide. So looks like, Brian Cage goes one-on-one with Buddy Murphy. The 2300 Arena, the Battleground. So this is in Philadelphia. So 7:30 bell time.
There you go. All right. Another thing I learned about Buddy Murphy from that podcast was that he is also, I guess, very familiar with, I don't know if they call themselves friends, but they worked a lot together apparently, him and Sami Callahan from Impact. And then it made me start thinking, because there were just quite a few times he slipped that in there in this interview type deal, and it gave me the inkling. It's like, I can see Buddy Murphy doing really well as a top Impact guy, and it would make sense to me. So, and then you've got the ability there with the AEW partnership to, go through that forbidden door, and there can be stuff that even happens later down the road with that, if that's the case, So, I don't mind that. I think that would be a good place for him to land eventually.
Speaking of Impact, I thought it was interesting. Last week, you guys were talking about. I think Jay Jansen had posted in the group saying, with the first release of WWE talent is coming up on their 90 days. What do you guys think? And you guys had mentioned Chelsea Green and Impact. And
I was wrong.
It's interesting that she made her debut. It was like 3 days before the 90-day compete was up.
Apparently, she called Johnny Ace
and was able to negotiate it or something.
And just asked. She was just like, "Hey,
it's 3 days.
Just let me out of this a little bit early," and they apparently did. And I thought it was really cool that she showed up at Ring of Honor, because that's a definite sort of swerve that I wasn't expecting. And I like it. I like her in that tournament, and I think as long as she doesn't break her goddamn wrist,
exactly, stays healthy, then
she'll be a great fit. I think that Impact would have been sort of. She can still, I think, do work with Impact, but I think it's nice for her to not necessarily go right back to where she was before, and to sort of move. Not necessarily not. I mean, move forward from WWE, but like move in a new direction.
Yeah.
So
it's
a lot of new matches.
Yeah, it's a lot of good potential, and I mean, I get it too. It would feel maybe for her, maybe even like a little bit of a step back if she were to go like back to Impact, right? You know,
Yeah.
like this
and then
is,
immediately she's feuding with one of her best friends, Deonna Purrazzo.
Yeah, I mean, and that would be cool to see down the line, and I'm sure we will get that
Absolutely.
like maybe later down the road. But no, I think we're getting way too ahead of ourselves because I did really. I mean, we should look a little bit further back to the Malakye Black debut.
Yeah.
I loved the foreshadowing throughout the evening with the lights going off. I felt that was cool.
Apparently, that was Malakye's. That was his idea as well.
Cool.
Apparently, he told them like, "Hey, what if you tease this so people think?" And you saw it in that first match too.
But it wasn't overdone. I think it only happened maybe twice.
Yeah,
if it happened three times, that was it. But
you heard the crowd kind of gasp like when it went out during the Cody match in that first match, like what's happening, and then it came back on, and the commentary was like, "Oh, there's been storms," and
Right.
that
all
sort of thing.
believable
So
stuff. I mean,
it played well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wasn't
no, I
wrong.
liked it, and the thought briefly crossed my mind, but then of course I went back to what everybody thought. Well, no, it's too soon, That's it couldn't happen yet, and I think that was because I hadn't even watched it yet, Duncan. But you had sent me that vignette, and I hadn't watched it. I watched it after the debut, to be honest. So, but even you just sending it. And like how much buzz that was getting, that was released on like the day before, the day of the debut, right?
The morning of.
The morning of.
Yep.
So that was smart. I did enjoy someone made the joke of Aleister Black cares more about WWE continuity than WWE. In the fact he's still selling the eye.
Still selling the eye.
And I don't. Does that have to go on forever? Like, is that?
I think it will. I think it absolutely will.
Right. I kind of like that in a way too.
I also liked that in the vignette before the end of it. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen it. But before the end of it, when they take the bandage off of his eye, it's completely healed. And then and then when he attacks them, it's back to being the
it's
injured,
back on yes.
like
and this
eye,
this is I think very crucial because a lot of people were negative with the name at first, and they were all like, no, he should be just Tommy N. We want, like he should just be that.
Right.
But he is. That's the thing. I think we're dealing with a split personality disorder type thing, and that Malakye Black has inhabited, much as Aleister Black had inhabited the head of Tommy End once upon a time. Now Malakye Black, an even darker version of this character, is inhabiting Tommy End. But there was no way. It was so purposeful, in my opinion, the way Excalibur announced him. Oh, that's Tommy End. No, that's not Tommy End. That's Malakye Black.
No, absolutely.
And it goes to what Duncan was just saying too. He could have the eye, right? The black eye, stick with it when he has that character, right?
They were counting on people having seen that vignette. They were counting on people having seen that, or that will see it, that will now pick up on the traits of the dual personality, the person locked in this asylum for 5 years. It's like, in Tommy N's mind, that never happened in reality. That was all in his head. Now he's got someone else in his head in the form of Malakye Black.
And I love it. And I think that it's
cool.
Honestly, it's the opportunity to do with that character what WWE fucked up doing.
I don't want it to go too spooky. I want it to go more psychotic than spooky. And I think that's the direction they're going. Almost like wrestling's sort of the latest release of the Joker movie, right? Like with Joaquin Phoenix.
They're gonna go
almost a little bit like that. Like
they're gonna go evil.
Yeah.
They're not gonna go spooky.
They're
going to go evil.
And that's, I think, a great distinction between what needs to happen, what WWE kind of were doing, and what this needs to happen. Like,
WWE is afraid to do anything evil.
They can get away with it sort of with spooky.
Yeah, they can get away with spooky.
Yeah.
But like all of these things, like, because what you look at is Malakye Black. I don't think it's a split personality. I think it's a possession.
That's probably a better way to put it. But yeah.
Like, I think that it's more of like Malakye is an entity that's inhabiting Tommy End in the form of like whatever you want to call it, but I do think that they'll probably lean into the dark and evil side of things more than like the spooky and supernatural, because evil is something that everybody understands. Supernatural and spooky is kind of like it can go cheesy really easily.
Yeah.
But
not everyone will buy into supernatural spooky.
Right.
I mean, maybe most wrestling fans, right? But but general people, and I think, even wrestling, like, evil is something you can, if not relate.
Everybody can relate to that.
Yeah.
No, it's a really good point, and I think I'm really excited to see what they do with him. I feel like he needs to beat Cody.
He has to beat the shit
out of
Cody.
Yeah.
He has to damage Cody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
this could be a good excuse to write Cody off for a while, too.
Yeah. Like,
what if he fucking took Cody's eye out? Like, what if he smashed his eye on the ring steps? Like, what if you turn something that was cheesy?
What if he rips his neck tattoo off with his claws?
Yeah, that'd be way better. I mean, nothing would make me happier than that fucking thing being gone.
Do you know what? How has this not been really done yet?
Sacrifice the baby. What?
With no, because that's gonna be a beautiful, beautiful baby.
I know.
But Cody's dream tattoo. Has it ever been really done where a wrestler's like targeted it, like as like a heel against Cody with the dream thing? Like disrespecting the whole legacy and all that.
But that would be great.
But something like that could work for like an Aleister Black or a Malakye Black, or
that tattoo is so fucking bad.
Yeah,
the D is 8 inches tall, and the REAM is about 4 millimeters tall. What the fuck is this?
You could probably do a tattoo podcast. Like, you probably could do something like that.
Could.
Yeah,
a wrestling tattoo podcast.
That's a good idea.
I will say I had in my notes here that that strap match with Cody wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad in all reality. No. But I will say that I was really expecting that the crowd was gonna pop, and they did not really pop that loud for him.
No, they didn't.
Like when he came out and his entrance hit, and even when he got up on the ring post on the corner, right, and like stood up and looked, like, it was not very loud, especially in comparison to Hangman. Like, everybody yelling cowboy shit, and then when he came out, that was one of the loudest pops I've heard in a while. I guess we haven't had like
the best friends too, though. Best friends with Cassidy and Statlander, like
huge pop. I mean, but Cody did not get that, and I think that they were hoping because that was the first entrance on the show, right?
Yeah.
And
clearly QT is the detestable heel prick.
So he was already in the ring. Yeah, right. But yeah, so
I wonder.
Not a Cody Rhodes ego play.
Yeah, not at all.
Be the first entrance back in front of fans.
No, exactly. It for me though, like, I gotta say, like, it was a better match than I expected. I don't think I like strap matches that much, but it still was like, I think I went in with low expectations because we all know who's winning the match, right? Like, there's
Yeah.
no,
Obviously.
that's
Come
not
on.
really, but better than expected, and some other things happened on this Dynamite that were better than expected. It was by no means like their best Dynamite ever. Nice to see them in a different location, good set. Yeah, I wouldn't say the best crowd, and for another big reason, wouldn't say the best crowd because one of the douchebags hopped the barricade, and then Chris Jericho went into business for himself there for a little bit, which I thought was hilarious. Old man dad fucking trying to just like punch, like it's like I imagine if like that's the way he would act if his like daughter's boyfriend was out of line, right? Like he just goes for like the quick cheap shot. Like I love how Jericho
and that body and the security guard
was slow.
Huge. He was slow, but he was fucking huge.
He was
see
big.
him? That dude's
Yeah,
jacked.
of course he was slow. He's carrying 300 pounds of muscle.
It was funny though. It was a funny interaction. I'm not sure if you saw some of the fallout from it, but
well, the dude apparently told Cornette that he was just like, I did this for us real wrestling fans.
I paid for a ticket. I gave them my money. Like,
right, and then I jumped the ring, and then I got thrown out after I got punched in the head.
And even Cornette and his buddy, I think it's Bryan. Is it Bryan or something? Like whoever he does the show with, they like both responded to him. Well, fuck you, you dumbass. That's not what it's about, and you're blocked.
And you're blocked.
So your cult of Cornette.
Cornette told him he would have made him a tennis racket popsicle.
Yeah. That's great. But
and he even sort of paid the Young Bucks praise. He was just like, look, even if you think you can take on the Young Bucks, it's just like
you can't.
Still like that you can't, and that's still our sacred ground.
That's the best thing he said, really. I mean, and because we all feel like that. I mean, we're such nerds that we do look at it like that. That's why anybody that's worth their weight in any sort of wrestling knowledge, if they're ever have the briefest chance to walk into a ring, they wipe their feet before they step into that ring. And
dude, I did that entrance at the Performance Center, and I wiped my feet.
I did it. I think both of us did it when we went even to the cage, Matthew, at Access.
Oh yeah, we did.
Yep.
We did. I remember us like, we got to do it, right? Like
gotta do it.
It's the rules. Like, that's got to do it. And that's a photo op ring in the chamber, So whatever, we're idiots. But sad news: Bayley's injured. I am bummed about that.
Oh, dude, freak injury apparently.
Yeah. Gearing up to go back on the road, training at the PC, and like Achilles, right? Something? Or no, ACL? Is it ACL?
I think ACL.
ACL.
Yeah.
So 9 months. Here's the thing about that. It got me thinking. With her gone, obviously they're bringing people up. They've got, the vignettes with Toni Storm are rolling now. That's kind of big. They've just brought up Shotzi and Teagan Knox to go into the women's, tag division. I believe on Smackdown they're both listed as. And they announced today that Shotzi is going just by Shotzi now, and that Blackheart is apparently gone from her
and
name.
Also that Teagan Knox is just Knox.
Is she just Knox?
Yep.
Oh God, that's dumb.
Yep. Shotzi
and Knox, whatever. We all know who they are, so we'll just refer to them as we please. But the Bayley injury, it comes at a tough time where they kind of needed her, I think, and I definitely think like with just to kind of bolster either female roster, Bayley's there to do that, especially with going back to fans. It's also unfortunate that her best run of her career was not in front of anyone.
Right.
And will you be able then with her when she comes back? There's no way that she's gonna be booed. Like after 9 months and then comes back, she can't really come back as her Karen character, can she? I mean, like you've almost got to reinvent Bayley a little bit with this because she's gonna.
I don't know.
Probably
Seth Rollins did it.
Yeah. He still got cheered, but I guess didn't take long.
He got cheered, and then he started with a face promo, and then immediately turned it heel. So
that's probably, I guess, the way you do it. But how do you feel about Shotzi and Knox on the main roster? Because it sounds like it's like a done deal.
I'm okay with it. It gives them an opportunity to put some more focus on some of the other women on the NXT roster. So I think that that's good.
And Shotzi's a main event character. I don't know about Teagan Knox, but I do.
What I find weird about that is that she just came back
from
on NXT.
Yeah.
To cost Indy and Candice the tag team titles
with a whole series of vignettes as well.
Well, little teasers like that. It was like a whole
teasers.
Y2J countdown gimmick.
The battery charging.
It was a whole Duncan returns to Ohno radio show gimmick.
Yeah. It would have made sense if you would have put that on Raw. Right. You could put it. You can put it on both shows, and you can still have her debut at like NXT. But then she's on Raw. Then it sort of makes sense a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Like it's, but
even SmackDown, right?
But 99% of people don't even know who this Welsh girl is. You know, like where's she come from? Who is that? Like,
why should we care?
Why should we care?
Yeah.
Even if they just aired those stupid little battery things on Raw a couple of times, at least she would have a bit of mystique about her that you might want.
SmackDown.
You might, SmackDown.
Yeah. But
might want to care about it. Like it.
Well, and then they could at least show like, it actually went full at NXT, and they could cut to it, you know, and say like it was popping up here, you know. I wonder why, you know, and then eventually when they bring her, I don't know. It's weird that they would do like, why do you do a countdown when you're gonna bring someone up to another?
Right.
It makes no sense.
No, it doesn't.
No sense. It seems wasteful. I don't know.
I gotta really comment on this because I think it's close to a bigger story than Malakye Black's debut, in the fact that man, I am enthralled with Brock's new ponytail. It is my new favorite thing.
His beard and ponytail.
I'm pro beard Brock ponytail. I think he needs to come back like that.
I love how it's still all really short, like all around. It's just on the fucking top.
Yeah. No, I think he's coming back with that. I think he's gonna come back with a new look, and he's gonna look like that. And
the Brock boombox with his hair pulled back.
I was wondering. So Paul Heyman being taken off Talking Smack.
Yep.
Right.
That's big.
I was then wondering, you know, because the first headline I read before I read the article was that he's being taken off all WWE TV, right? Then I read the article and it was like Talking Smack. Then I read a little bit more into it, and it was like, well, with shows going back live on the road and things like that, and you know, Talking Smack, they don't want people to see it before the West Coast airs Smackdown, right? If they're doing it, you know, but they're putting Pat, I guess, in there, you know, which he's been doing great on his own accord. Like, I'll give him great props there, but I wonder if this is the beginning steps to kind of, if they're going to bring Brock back. I don't think they pull him directly from Roman. I think that would be way too telling. I think he's got to stay with Roman, but he slowly starts like less supporting or something like that, or Brock shows up. And
this is a very interesting thing, because I see a lot of wrestling fans, and I think you're kind of thinking of it too, in the fact that like, if you bring Brock back, because of the stuff maybe that's happening with Roman and the possibilities with The Rock down the line, right? Do you keep then Brock away from Roman and have the whole Paul like kind of bouncing between the two, right? I think you address it differently. And what I think you do is you absolutely, and this may sound weird, but what if Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns kind of had an agreement and an alignment, and that it wasn't necessarily Paul stuck in the middle of these two, that Paul has almost brokered a deal between the two. And therefore they're not friends, but they kind of help each other in certain ways. Like, you stay over here in your lane, I'll stay over here in mine. And then you build that for a while before you have your Titans clash.
I think to do that, they would have to be on different brands.
Yes, 100%.
I think you're right there. Yeah. But I think you need to address it rather than disguise, like, don't insult our intelligence, because it's not like Roman can't tune into Raw and Brock, like, he can see what Paul Heyman is doing. So, like, don't insult our intelligence that we can't see that too. Like, you tell the story as if it's happening in real life. Like, you're on Raw. I'm on Smackdown. I've got no problem with you right now because you're over there and I'm over here. You're doing your thing, I'm doing my thing. Maybe at some point those two worlds collide. I mean, Survivor Series, but
do you... How does that work with, like, the head of the table? Like, that phrase and gimmick and, like, he's then sharing the head of the table, right? I mean, there are two ends to the table, right? I mean, there are two seats. There's one seat at either end of the table, which it could signify the two brands. I think it would be really funny if Brock came back, didn't have Paul Heyman, and then he's on, say, Raw, and he's, like, getting these little notes like he's in middle school. It's like, do you miss me? His circle, yes.
I like that. I could do it. Especially with this new ponytail. Maybe this is the start of us seeing some personality again from Brock, because it is there. There is some there, deep down. He was having so much fun with that boombox briefcase.
Yeah.
Like,
oh my god.
I'm like, this is what Brock is loving. This is the real
money
Brock.
in the boombox.
He does dumb shit like this all around the house with Sable or whatever, and like,
and she's like, Jesus Christ, Brock. Like, he's just standing in the fucking kitchen, helicopter in his dick.
He just does. Yeah.
Look at it. Yeah. Look at it, bitch. Come on. Look.
Do it. Yeah. Look how red I am. Look how red I am.
With his long hair now, windmilling, and he grew out his pubes, and he's windmilling with his pubes.
Kind of sad and alarming, and obviously like related to what we were unrelated type thing.
I was like, I don't know how you're related.
Yeah. I was going to talk about the apparently no real punishment for Jimmy Uso for his DUI situation. And
all right, look, this is fucked up.
It is kind of fucked up.
This is not okay.
No.
I know that they're just like, we got plans. We got to do this. And I'm just like, okay, but you fucked up. And you put, like, okay, because, like, drunk driving, not a good idea, right? I think we all are not on board with the drinking and driving thing.
Nope.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, fucking... for him to get pulled over, this is his third arrest in 3 years?
It's something like that. There's been 5 incidents. I think all of them related to alcohol as well. And
the fact that his level was fucking .205 or 203 or something.
It's not that bad. I mean, I did a .249, so, I got
Look, it's not a DUI competition.
It is with me and Jimmy. I could outdrink you, Jimmy.
No, you could out DUI
Book it.
A DUI on a pole match.
Yeah, DUI on a pole match.
Oh my god!
But that's what this sort of
pole match.
As awful as that we just said, like, that is seriously like kind of how this needs to be viewed right now, because it's almost the Jeff Hardy thing again. Like,
they are gonna ignore the shit out of it.
Yeah.
But they kind of didn't. They did and they didn't.
That's all they're gonna do.
All they're gonna do.
That's all it is. Yeah.
That's all they're gonna do.
Yeah. Yeah,
and
you're right.
From now on, it's just gonna be like, nope, it's back to what it was. So as long as he doesn't get another fucking DUI,
which he will,
he should get drunk. I guess, all right, different brands. I was gonna say get drunk and steal Jinder's bike and crash it.
See?
Yeah, I trust Drew in the hands of that bike more than I do Jimmy Uso, for damn sure. Like,
but they fucking. I mean, if I were Jeff Hardy, I'd be pissed because they put him through the fucking ringer. They like made him
that was uncalled for.
The whole thing. Then he got piss thrown in his face, and
that was uncalled for. Yeah.
I mean, that was too far.
Yeah. That was a piss too far.
That was a piss too far.
Did you see that Xavier technically pinned the world champion Bobby Lashley clean last night?
Yeah, with the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment.
Yeah, the small package.
Roll-up.
It was the
small package. I mean, I'd call that a surprise roll-up.
It was labeled as a small package, and the way he does it looks more. Like, the small package is slightly different, right? Because it's like got a cross leg or something. Like,
look,
it's not
nothing about that. There was no reality that had me believe that Bobby Lashley could not have just yoked Xavier Woods off of him.
Well, he did for half the match, but
but in the pinfall predicament, like, it was the worst acting.
It was. It was pretty bad. You're right.
It's even worse than Rhea Ripley's acting coming down to the ring on the fucking crutch.
Oh yeah, that was fucking bad.
I don't care about either of them. They've ruined Rhea and Charlotte for me. Both of them.
Yep, they sure have, and we're going to have to talk about a match between the two of them later.
Yeah, we will.
And do you think, not to jump too far, it's a prediction possibly, but there's one spot left on the women's. We haven't seen Sasha in a while.
Yeah, she's been out, and she just appeared at the ESPYs the other night, so that might make sense.
Not saying.
I can't really say who the fuck else it would be.
No, there's not one ginger.
Yeah.
Like, in my mind,
that would be pretty badass.
Oh, okay. So that actually books pretty well because Asuka had the briefcase. And she said, "You get the title."
Yeah.
Right.
Asuka's in the match.
Yeah, I mean, there's a nice way to bookend that. This is what I think. I think that when it comes to Money in the Bank and the last spot for the women, 2 options. I guess 3, Sasha. You could bring Sasha back, fine. Sasha back, fine.
Yeah.
I think that it's either Becky or Sonya Deville.
And that was one of the 2 that I had picked in my head because of the way that storyline's been developing.
Yeah.
And it could be something weird where Sonya ends up winning it through fuckery of some description.
Through Liv. Yeah, there could be something there. I also thought, but it won't because she's stuck in a terrible storyline with, someone else. But this could be a great way if you wanted to rebuild Baszler. If you just brought Baszler in and she won Money in the Bank, I think Baszler would be awesome with the briefcase. Yeah, I agree. They need to rebuild her as a killer. They need to have her turn on Nia.
Yeah.
And just destroy her.
And keep, honestly, if you want to keep doing it, by all means, our boy Reggie has done wonders for Nia. The 2 of them do actually kind of have some pretty good chemistry.
Yeah.
And I'd say, you could still stick with that for a while if you wanted to as well.
Give my boy Reggie some matches. Like, let's let Reggie Mania run wild. That's all I'm gonna say.
I saw him flipping in the gym the other day. Fucking
the whole like he literally did back handsprings the entire length of a basketball court.
Yeah, that's. Remember in Stadium Stampede when Sammy Guevara got German suplex the whole length of a football field? It was like that, but this was real. That's the only way I could put it.
Dude, yeah. Our boy is
he's the man.
He's the man. He's a very, very gifted athlete, and I'm very excited. I mean, I don't know if we're going to see him at the pay-per-view, but I feel like we're going to see him on that first Raw in front of fans.
And you know what? That's going to be huge because we're going to start seeing people's opinions of him and reactions. Mm-hmm. And I think here's the deal. I'm a little worried because I think it's just a tad like late for him. Like he's gonna get a mixed reaction at first, but I think he's gonna win them over.
He's gonna get a mixed reaction until they let him start doing what he can do.
Yes.
And once he's in there, starts flipping around in front of people, they're gonna be like, oh shit. Yeah.
Well, and the people online already, as we read months ago when he first, was making appearances, like, remember we were reading the YouTube, everyone was fucking for him,
Yeah.
I've seen a little bit of turnaround on that, though. I have. Like, of course, they were buzzing for him at first, and now they...
Yeah, but a lot of it's been because he's been continuously shoehorned into this Nia Jax storyline where...
I think it goes beyond that, man. He's the face of the women's division at the moment. And I think a lot of people are, obviously a little, or at least the women's tag team division, right? Like,
and the thing is it's not like he set out for that to happen.
No.
It's just sort of like, the boss gives you an assignment and you do it, and
you do it well.
You do what you got. Yeah, you do what you can do.
The boss says stick with it.
Yeah. And you do what the boss says. So
I got to go back to AEW for a little bit, because the news broke last week, and we talked about it a little bit, Duncan, that Tony Khan wants to do another exploding barbed wire death match.
Jeez.
Especially because he got his money back. And then I was thinking,
dude, I fucking good on him, because I wouldn't have paid for that shit either.
Yeah.
And there's two things I want to mention here. I wanted to ask you guys, what match do you want to see in this situation? I came up with one, and I'll give you a clue as to one of the participants in the match. Cigarette dangly earrings. Did you see them on this week's Dynamite? Nick fucking Jackson's cigarette dangly earrings.
No.
He had cigarette dangly earrings. And he is one of the two people that I would put in the next exploding barbed wire death match. That second person, Eddie Kingston.
So, okay.
I think there's ways that you can get there story-wise. I think they're already halfway there with some of the stuff between the Elite and Kenny, and I think with Mox and the Bucks, and there's ways you could get there, right? I'm not saying it's immediate. I'm saying this could be down the road. But for some reason, Kingston and Nick, I feel, would have the ability to do that. And I like Nick when he's in singles matches. I great, of course, with Matt, but I think Nick could be elevated to that just next level. Not that he really needs it, but he could. And I think something like this, it would be apropos for Kingston to be in the match regardless. Maybe it's not Nick, but Kingston.
I could definitely see Kingston.
Yeah.
And especially he could sell I went to cover my friend during the, that sort of thing. Yeah. If they wanted to make a callback, which they probably don't. But it seems more hardcore. Nick doesn't seem as hardcore.
I mean, they've done hardcore matches.
What are you talking about? They had a street fight, bro, this past week. It was a street fight.
Dude, they did super kick Candice LeRae with a Air Force One that was, the sole was completely aligned with thumbtacks.
There you go.
So
they did the thumbtack spot this past week. There was plenty of thumbtacks.
So it's I could see that. It doesn't feel as
big.
No, I feel like, I don't know. I've seen Pentagon in some really fucking violent matches, especially in Lucha Underground.
Well, that would be kind of cool too, because there's, relationship there between Kingston and Penta. Yeah. You could build that. That can work.
Yeah.
The brutality of Kingston.
I guess it's also do they try and do a tag match out of it? That's the thing, is there's a lot of things that they can do.
Right.
That they haven't done yet. You could absolutely do the Bucks versus Kingston and Penna in an exploding barbed wire death match. That I can see.
It would
For
be
some
better
reason, I
if it
also feel
wasn't
like-
yeah, I think if they do it a second time around, I don't think it'll be a singles match. I think you bring up a good point there. That it'll be it'll be more than that. They'll have to do something different with it, obviously.
Right, or Cody will want to be in it so that he can put himself over some more.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you bring up a good point. We're almost at the point of the show where we're going to be doing our predictions.
I had a couple, just 2 more AEW things.
Yeah,
If that's
yeah.
all right with you?
Dump it out, bro.
So one, I already brought up the pop for Hangman, but I think that this is the beginning of that obvious build between him and Omega.
Yeah.
You know, and I think they're going to take the time to get there. Yep. But I don't know if that time is September.
Yeah, is it all out or not? Like that, because that's where.
I think it's double or nothing.
I think it's double or nothing.
You think they go that far?
Yeah, I think
Wow.
they do.
I think
also,
so.
I think Kenny is done with the belt collecting.
Yeah.
Think so too.
I think he's going to lose the Impact title to Callahan.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's going to happen.
I mean, it can't last forever. And
for some reason,
isn't there
see
some?
Anders.
There's been some change. Sorry, very quickly to interject, but there's been some sort of difference? I don't know if it's kayfabe or not with Don Callis and Impact's relationship, like very recently. Like
kayfabe. He was fired from the board of
kayfabe.
Directors.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. My bad. I literally didn't know if that was.
But they were chanting it this past week. The crowd, you got fired.
You got fired.
Gotcha. That's where. Oh, got it. Okay. That just clicked. Thank you.
Yep. I think that Anderson takes the IWGP US title.
Ooh.
I was gonna say that's
him and Moxley.
Machine Gun. The Machine Gun's coming back.
He was huge in Japan. I don't know how much, he says he doesn't want to work like that anymore, but, he's a brother. He talks brother talk.
He'll go where the money is.
He'll go with, and there's probably a lot of money in having him back as that
Machine Gun made a lot of money.
Yeah.
And if he goes back over there, there's immediate money to be made with Bullet Club.
And he doesn't really have to go back over there because he could probably just defend it on Strong, which is based in California.
Yes, at some point he'll have to go back over there, but because they're like, dude, Tama Tonga, Bad Luck Fale, like there's so much bad blood between the Bullet Club and the Good Brothers and the Bucks, and
there's money to be made there.
Yeah,
So
I as soon as I saw that get announced, I'm just like,
and it would make sense for Moxley to drop it. Let's be real. It's that time, and with the kid, and he's gonna be one of those ones. He's gonna take that, like, maybe we'll call it 9 months off, something like that, right?
Probably 6, but
6 maybe, right? But he'll come back and he'll be instant #1 contender somehow for the belt, whoever's champion, and probably win the belt back. I think Moxley's the first. I think Moxley's the first 2-time AEW champion. If I were to guess,
it's Moxley or Omega.
Or Omega, yeah.
So Matthew, what was your other?
Sorry.
I did just like Kenny's chicken shit heel, like, what's the capital of Thailand and Bangkok.
The old Bangkok.
I actually laughed fucking super, like, I laughed out loud when that happened.
Middle school Owen at the bus stop definitely laughed.
Fucking, it was just too funny.
Cause the old you ever do the old nut tap with your friends? It's the worst.
Yep.
Yeah, dude, because you just get the finger to whip back, and it's just like,
cool, dude. It's
I'm sorry, I just made myself throw up in the mouth.
Yeah,
it just sits in there. Yeah.
I just feel it.
And then you feel like, all right, so for anybody who doesn't have a pair of testicles and has never been hitting them, you feel like you have to throw up and shit at the same time.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
And it's like this weird throbbing there for a little while.
Yeah, and you're just like
the only other thing I wanted to bring up was the Andrade match. It was his first match.
That badass skull mask he had.
The entrance was awesome.
That was awesome. I think a lot of people, not everyone was saying it online. That finisher, it didn't look great.
No.
I mean, hopefully, maybe it just wasn't a super clean one or something like that. But it just, because like when he hooked the leg and then he like pulled on the leg to bring it down, it just looked weird.
It looked awkward. It's something.
Yeah.
It's something that I need to probably look at again. But
that hammerlock DDT has just never looked normal to me. Like it's always looked like kind of a just like
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Do a double arm if you're gonna do that. Just do like I feel like I don't know. The whole match was pretty underwhelming though. It was very
underwhelming.
I was
gonna say that's it, like for his first match, and I mean I did like JR did have a great line in it. You can't win them all if you don't win the first one, but it was very underwhelming. I thought, and it was very slow at points. I don't know. I wanted to bring it up and get your opinions because one, the finisher, but also just two, like the rest of the match. Like the entrance was great, the mask was fucking badass, but beyond that, I was underwhelmed.
Well,
this entrance overshadowed the match.
100% it did, and I don't think it was the right first opponent in Matt Sydal either. I think that let it down a little bit because that's a match that you can build to later down the road and make a bigger deal, make us care about it a little bit more even. Because Sydal has his style, and I think that the two of them could work a very good match if given time.
Yeah,
Andrade looked rusty.
I thought Sydal looked better in the ring.
He did.
Yeah,
he did. He absolutely did. I thought I don't know. This might be a case. Remember, and this just goes back to like AEW's like propensity somehow they tend to fuck up these debuts, and
have to go fix it on the back end.
And they do it, they've done
it
successfully, plenty of times. But Andrade's like introduction to the company, whilst not a complete botch, is close. And I feel like they need to immediately get rid of the Vicky component. They need to they've got. I feel like they're already leaning in this direction because he's got like a new like assistant or something. If you notice, like he's got I don't know what the hell his name, but he's got like a dude.
Yeah, that other guy. Took his shit.
Yeah, took his shit. I feel like you just go in that direction, have the two of them kind of do that, and then realistically, you've got to give us a clear direction of what Andrade is going for, like sooner rather than later.
Yes,
because they did that night, like Aleister Black Malakye Black, his debut in AEW was probably the best AEW debut that they have had, like as far as giving us a pretty good idea of the character, a fucking cool, shocking entrance we didn't expect, and a direction in which he is going. Clearly, he's going to be targeting Cody. So, why is it so much different with Andrade? And what? Like, I feel like they've maybe even learned their lesson from the Andrade debut in that short amount of time between the Andrade debut and the Black debut. I feel like they've learned their lesson on how to do it somehow.
It was night and day in the impact that those two debuts had.
The presentation of it all.
Well, not even the presentation, just like I guess the presentation, but in the way that I feel that it's like Andrade came out, like Vicky came out and introduced Andrade, and I was just like, I mean, that was a choice. It's a bold strategy, Cotton.
See if it pays off.
And I don't know if it has so
I don't
far.
think it has.
But meanwhile, you have Malakye Black come out, and everybody's like, oh shit, Tommy End. And dude, he comes out, and first he kicks Arn's head off.
Yeah.
And then, because that's like one of those ones where you're not really expecting it. And then Cody comes out, and it's like, okay, all right, you're right. And then kicks Cody in the fucking head. And that, I was like, yeah, come in and attack he's attacking the crown is what he's doing.
Well, yeah.
And that's
you're
brilliant.
A nightmare family. Like, I'm the fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
before we do predictions, there's a lot of rumors and a lot of stuff floating around. I don't know if I believe them, but it's obviously gotten big enough to where my brother even texted me today to ask, is Bryan going to AEW?
I've read that too recently.
It's been really getting a little bit more of a buzz. Like, it seems like such a long shot for so long, but the longer it goes with him not appearing at all on WWE TV and them slowly kind of not talking about him, it does lead one to speculate. In my heart of hearts, I say no. But with the never say never, and then maybe the relationship we've sort of already seen with New Japan and Bryan's probably propensity to want to wrestle there again, as he said.
Right. I wouldn't rule it out.
I'm not there yet. I would rule it out probably a month ago. But now
dude,
or do you think he sits it out so he can, because he said he doesn't really want to work as much, right? You know,
right?
And going somewhere and doing these, I mean, if he goes to AEW, I mean, I feel like he's gonna have to be on the road and be showing up at least, you know, and doing a little more. I feel like WWE, if he came in as a surprise entrant at the Rumble or something like that, you know, there would be a huge pop. He could work a very limited schedule with WWE. And he would have to have maybe one short title run or something. But
yeah, I don't know if WWE has that faith in him. Because,
or that he wants to work WWE,
or
like, he was
dude, what if? Let me just throw a hypothetical at you. What if next year's Double or Nothing, Hangman Page has just dethroned Kenny Omega, and you don't want to do it through the crowd, but what if they've had, what if Daniel Bryan has been in the crowd or whatever, and he goes and he congratulates, but what if he locks in the yes lock or hits Hangman with a running knee?
Jeez. And then we have a heel Daniel Bryan coming in after.
Heel Bryan immediately coming in American Dragon style.
I mean,
yeah,
I don't hate it.
And just immediately going after the most over babyface in the company and Hangman Page, because he, without question,
and give Kenny Omega some goddamn time off, because he probably will need it by then.
Yeah.
Tony Khan has hinted at, we got more surprises. Like, this ain't over. Like, he's not beating around the bush. He's like, yeah, no, we're talking to people. Like, a lot of speculation going on right now with that women's, I guess it's a women's ladder match at All Out that's already taking shape. There's a TBD in there. And is it All Out? I guess it is. I don't know. Whenever it's scheduled, I think it's All Out already. But there's a TBD in there, and everybody's like, oh, that should be Ruby Soho, coming in, Ruby Riott.
Right. Right, because she's already said that she won't be in Impact, so.
Yeah. So there's a lot of speculation there. And then, one last quick thing before we go to do some predictions. And we'll try and get through those pretty quick. But I love this little fact, guys. This is my favorite piece of trivia from the week. And that it's that when Billy Gunn squared off against Dr. Luther on Elevation, their combined age was 109.
Jesus.
Billy Gunn at 57 and Dr. Luther at 52.
Wow.
How old's Jericho?
I think he's a little younger than that. He's
50.
Oh, he's over 50, yeah.
He's 52, I'm going to say. What do you guys think?
That sounds about right.
I think we've looked this up, and I think it is
53,
52.
something in there.
He's he's 50. He'll be 51 he'll be 51 in November. He was born in 1970.
Look at that young buck.
Yeah.
Oh, guys, you want to do some predictions?
We better.
All right.
It's time for your money in the bank predictions.
God damn it, Pink.
Your champion will be going last as per the rules. And in this game, we will review 6 matches that I believe are on Wikipedia. And we will be doing predictions for Sunday's main event, Money in the Bank. Fuck you.
Hey, you guys ready for some Money in the Bank predictions?
Yeah, let's friggin' do it.
All right. So, what do we want to start with? How about the tag match between AJ Styles and Omos, the champions, versus the Viking Raiders, Eric and Ivar? Tag team match for the WWE Raw Tag Team Championship.
AJ.
Going AJ right off the bat. AJ and Omos. All right.
Yeah.
All right. You're going there. All right. Both of you are agreeing on this. Duncan, are you AJ Omosing?
Man, I want the Viking Raiders to win. So, you know what? I'm just going to go with my heart. I'm going to will the Viking Raiders to win.
Damn it. I was going
Because
to
they're
go
a good
Viking
tag
Raiders.
team. And I think that AJ and Omos, there's a good way to like have AJ and Omos split with this, and AJ can make Omos look good, and then
Kinda
they can try and push Omos.
Yeah, but then what do you really do with it? I still am confused what you really do with him, but your logic is correct.
I don't think that there's really anything to do with him,
No.
and that's the problem with this.
Yes.
So I think that it's also run its course,
Yeah.
and there's only so much more
Yeah.
that you can do. So I don't know. And dude, if they give the Viking Raiders a chance to like put on a true War Raiders match.
And they're both kind of back from injuries too. They both kind of reassembled, sort of getting a little bit of momentum in recent weeks.
Yeah.
That's why I will also go with the Viking Raiders on this one. Yeah. I'm going to agree with you there. Next match. How about Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair?
Oh, I don't care, but it's
I
Rhea
know.
Ripley.
On this one, I'm going Rhea Ripley as well. Yeah. It's going to be across the board. Especially after the last screw job, essentially, with the my title win. They gotta. Well, unless they really hate Ripley, they have to do it, right? Like, unless they really just want to be like, no, we're done with you.
Yeah.
But I can't. But I don't see that either. Not yet. So yeah, Rhea.
Yeah.
How about now? Bobby Lashley with MVP versus Kofi Kingston with Xavier Woods is the way it's put for the WWE Championship. This seems obvious on paper, but this is one of the only matches on either of the shows that has had a decent build. They've done a good job with this. You're also starting to see dissension between Lashley and MVP. Which is new, and my gut reaction is Lashley retains. But
I like
what
that
if
you're the one that's supposed to be going last, but you just want to go first?
Well, I'm just kind of like running down in my own thoughts and my brains, like seeing like the two names on paper and how I've seen this build unfold. Because once upon a time, like say a week or so ago, I would not have thought that Kofi would have standed a chance. But I'm kind of on the fence, so What are your thoughts?
I'm going Lashley.
Bobby Lashley, yeah.
Yeah.
Although, think about it.
No, Bobby Lashley is going to murder him.
Although,
Yeah.
gonna come
Hey,
back.
and they have it. Don't they have this book for a bunch of the house shows coming up too?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's not gonna win it.
No. You going to go Kofi?
I'm really thinking about it, but it
He could
plays.
lo-
But
he-
it
he
plays
could-
into
he-
something down
He
the
could lose,
line.
and Big E wins the Money in the Bank, and Big E cashes in, and
Well, I do think Big E wins Money in the Bank, but then I think that there's going to be a conundrum if Kofi were to win the title, and Big E and Kofi having to face off. And I think there's a story that you can tell with that. And for those reasons, because I'm looking maybe a little further ahead, and I'm probably wrong, and I'm probably going to be disappointed, but I'm going to go Kofi Kingston wins this match.
Fair enough. I'm pretty sure that Bobby Lashley is the biggest favorite on the card. In
think
any
Kofi-
match.
I also think that coming back with a big face champion in Kofi Kingston in front of crowds might be money too, especially when we get to why don't we just do it, the men's Money in the Bank ladder match.
Well, you already called Big E.
I am. I'm going to go ahead and say that, and that's the reason why I think this whole thing shakes out, is because I think you're going to have a weird New Day dynamic, and I think that you're going to have Big E with the briefcase almost like wishing Kofi would lose the belt so he doesn't have to take it from him type thing. There's a lot of storyline opportunities
There
in
is,
there.
and I don't see WWE following through on any of them. I'm going to go with Drew McIntyre to win the Money
Are
in the
you?
Bank.
Okay.
I am.
Drew Mac, baby.
And that's why I think Lashley retains as well. They will finally do Lashley
another?
versus... yeah, again.
I guess this time in front of a crowd,
In
so
front of a crowd.
that your logic makes a lot of sense there. I'm probably losing my belt, but hey, I always like to,
Yeah.
like to
Can't
roll the
play
dice.
if you don't
baby.
win.
I roll the dice.
yeah.
That's right.
I mean, like in my heart, I want Big E to take it. It seems to make a lot of sense, but this last redemption and for like
Drew.
if Drew doesn't win it, like
What the
What
hell
do
do
you
you
do
do
with
with him, right?
Yeah.
well, I mean, I guess he's got a program with Jinder.
He does, but that'll last for another month. I had read something interesting where there's a theory going around that Randy will interfere and allow Riddle to win.
That would be fun. Like,
It would be fun.
I would like
And
that
then
too,
Riddle
to-
cashes in.
after the Lashley match, maybe.
No, Riddle cashes in on the tag team champions.
Can you do that?
Can you not?
I don't know if that's a thing or not, but yeah.
I think you can do whatever you want.
You can just
Well, it is
take
WWE.
the briefcase
yeah.
away from someone.
It's true. You can.
So are you officially going Drew, Matthew?
It's either I feel like it's Drew, Riddle, or Rollins.
Rollins is in there too. That's a dark horse type.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going Big E.
He's going Big E. All right.
I think you need some sort of new main eventer. Like
I completely agree.
Well, we can only hope. Ricochet definitely isn't winning it.
No,
Morrison's
Ricochet's not
definitely not winning it.
Nakamura's not winning it.
No, but I love how on Wikipedia he is noted as King Nakamura.
King Nakamura.
So-
King Nakamura.
And
he took the King Corbin.
It's
mark
not King
my
Mora.
words, Corbin's going to be a huge deal in the next year. Corbin is going to be
Yep.
someone we actually
He'll
talk about
finally have
in a
his moment.
favorable manner, and I can see it already coming because I feel bad for Corbin. He's sad Corbin. He's sad Corbin. And then he's going to become happy Corbin.
He's got plenty of money. He's fine.
He's gonna have the Bayley gimmick with the fucking thing, It's good.
Yeah. So what do you think? Should we just do the women's?
Yeah, we'll do
the
the.
bank?
Might as well, right?
So
Asuka.
Asuka,
Do you want to do it?
Naomi,
Yep.
Bliss, Nikki Ash, Liv Morgan, Zelina Vega, Natalya, and TBD.
Should we start with who the fuck is TBD? I mean,
I've laid out my two that I think it is.
Sasha
I really
or Becky.
No, I think it's Becky or Sonya. I think Sonya Deville is the dark horse for that, but I think it's Becky, and I think Becky comes back, and I think Becky wins, so I'm calling Becky Lynch.
I mean, bold. Definitely bold. I'm not going to say foolish by any means because I can see it happening. It's a very real possibility, and the timing is great for that.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's going to be that impressive because I'm used to WWE shows.
I only think that it's going to be that impressive because it's back in front of fans.
Matthew?
And the pop on that would be insane.
Oh, it would. It would.
Otherwise, my two other theories are Liv Morgan teams up with Sonya Deville to have Sonya Deville win, or you have Zelina Vega win, but I don't feel like they do.
No.
I'm going Sasha.
You're going Sasha on that. Yeah, I mean,
That's solid.
It's not a bad it's not a bad shout.
Sasha and Becky have both been present recently, so
Sonya Deville.
yeah. See, this is where it gets interesting.
Sonya D. All right. Last match. As of now, I guess things could change. We still do have a Smackdown, but we will only use the ones that.
I'm gonna change all my predictions. Jinder Mahal wins every match.
All of them.
Yep.
Every
Jinder
match.
Mahal wins the women's Money in the Bank.
He would be a good women's champion. I prefer him with the Divas belt, but that's just me. I think it would.
He could
suit
bring it
him.
back.
He could bring it back. It's true. Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman versus Edge, singles match for the WWE Universal Championship. This is interesting, not in the fact that I think Roman Reigns is going to lose, because he will retain the belt. He will retain the belt, but will he lose?
I think Edge is going to win by DQ, something with Seth Rollins.
This
and
is my thought.
And he's not going to take the... Which then would maybe lead you to believe that there could be some sort of cash-in, which might be wrong, which then he doesn't take anything. And then... Well, I guess if it's a cash-in, it's not a DQ. Never mind. Somehow he's going to fuck it up. And that's how I feel. And Edge is going to win by DQ. There's going to be some fuckery, and it's going to set up the Rollins-Edge SummerSlam.
It's not a bad
Shit, what if Rollins wins Money in the Bank
to cash
and
in on
Edge wins?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Edge. Fuck it.
You're gonna go Edge. I like the balls on us this evening, boys.
Yeah.
We're doing it
We're
right.
Yeah.
We're doing the game right.
Yeah, we're not playing it safe anymore.
No.
We're not in quarantine no
I
more.
showed you last show. You guys are learning from me. I showed you last show.
Okay.
What you got to be the wild card to.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm doing the Rhea Ripley Charlotte Flair.
What's the capital of Thailand?
Okay. Felt it through the screen. Duncan, you went Edge, or you go Matthew?
I'm going Edge.
Matthew, what are you doing?
I'm going Edge.
You going Edge?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going Roman Reigns because you guys are
I think
idiots.
Roman still retains. I'm going by DQ, but
Yeah, I don't really. I think that Edge is gonna have to.
Regardless,
get a win.
he has to get a win.
No, he does. He does. I mean, I get the logic, but you got to play the game.
Oh, dude, all of our logic is sound all across the board, but that doesn't mean that we're not just being high and saying fuck it.
That's true too. That is 100% true. We have a couple of things before we get out of here just to mention. According to Fightful, this apparently broke like right before it went on the air tonight. But according to Fightful Select, John Cena is set to make his return within the next 11 days. Working plan is the July 23rd Smackdown, if not sooner. So that's interesting. I don't know. Fightful Select has usually been pretty good about their information, so I would, venture a guess that it's somewhat accurate. And then I'm kind of excited because July 15th, which is 2 days from now, AEW's All Elite General Manager comes out. Have you seen this thing?
The mobile game.
Yeah, it's a mobile.
Oh yeah.
It's a mobile game where you get to like book your own wrestling thing.
Yeah, it's an E-Fed.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get into it, bro.
Sure. I'm gonna continue with my WWE champions because it's Bejeweled.
Oh yeah, you guys are you still into the champions?
No, Matthew fell out of that a long time ago. He
Gave up
didn't-
I was in hard for a minute. No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then his factory took away any free time that he had.
Yeah.
That is true. And then the very last thing, which I hate to leave on a sad note, but I feel remiss if we did a whole show without mentioning it. But rest in peace, Paul Orndorff, Mr. Wonderful.
The thing
Let's
that
take
I
a couple
didn't
minutes to
realize-
talk about him, if you know.
Well, here's the thing: is like Orndorff was the last of the Heenan family.
yes,
Like, so it's just like fuck, the entire Heenan family is gone now.
Yeah.
But Haku was a member of the Heenan family, so
Hennig.
well, no, but Haku's still alive.
Was he technically a Heenan? Yeah, I guess
I mean,
he was.
yeah, he was in the tag team with Andre when they were managed by Heenan.
Yeah.
Maybe he wasn't like he was managed by Heenan. Maybe they didn't technically consider him part of the family.
Yeah,
but
I saw
like,
a graphic today, and it had all of them. And
yeah,
it was,
I saw the same thing. And I was like, shit.
that sucks.
Yeah, apparently he shoot kicked Vader's ass in flip flops backstage once.
Yeah, that was one of the
So, like-
most famous stories, and I remember him growing up, but I think it would obviously been at the tail end of his career.
I definitely remember him because I used to watch the first WrestleMania.
Well,
first
WrestleMania
couple.
1. I mean,
Yeah.
he. What was it him and Hogan, or was that later?
No, that was.
Well, but he was there at WrestleMania 1. I know that.
No, I want to say that it was Hogan with Mr. T. Like, I think Orndorff was in that event. Was in the main event.
I
Because
feel like, yeah.
Piper showed up because it was a tag team match or some shit. I don't know.
I can't
But yeah, no,
remember.
Orndorff was in that. Like dude, had a ridiculous body, probably somewhat enhanced.
He was like a Lex Luger before a Lex Luger
Yeah.
in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
I've always sort of like compared the two in the back of my brain, but he was involved in a lot of like major storylines coming from like the late 80s into the early 90s. Like he was a guy, and I think from what I was hearing on some other podcasts and just reading about him since his death, like he was like a real draw for a while as well.
Yeah.
Like he was like a real big deal.
Yeah.
And again, a bit before my time, like again, remember it, but I'm not clued into things at this
well,
point.
yeah, like
Yeah.
Orndorff was a draw before our time.
So WrestleMania 1 was Mr. Wonderful and Rowdy Piper with Cowboy Bob Orton versus Hulk
Versus
Hogan,
Hulk Hogan and
and
Mr.
Mr. T.
There you
with
go, yeah.
Superfly.
Yeah,
Jimmy Snuka.
Oh wow. So there you go. I mean, just a guy that we don't look at probably in the same, lens as a Hogan or a Macho Man as far as their influence on the business, but dude was in the main event of WrestleMania 1.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
think about that. So
yeah, you
Yeah.
can't take that away. Like
throw
that's
some
huge.
respect on that shit.
That's